Alright, little mudbloods. I'll show you guys some quick little tips and tricks.
Hogsmeade, here I come.
Yeah, no, I look like a pseudo
veritable thrashing, I'm told.
wizarding / matrix mashup. Alright, anyway, so go into your start menu. And then you're going to want to go into your gear. This is how you take a look at your glamour. Don't select the sub item. Just if you hit square when you see where it says below save value, you can then glamour it to whatever you want. Now the cool thing, and you can just change it on the fly, however you want, whenever you want. The cool thing about this feature is that once you've got an item in your inventory, its glamour option stays there forever. You don't need to equip it. Once it's in your inventory, its physical appearance stays in your inventory. Now, we'll do the next note on collections, because you guys have probably not been collecting your collections. You can also do that with wand handles too, by the way. Go to your wand handles, and you can change your appearance at any time. Okay, collections. Not collections. Challenges first, and then collections. So challenges, you guys are going to unlock challenges as you play the game and go around. Now, if you complete a challenge like that with a check mark, it's not going to automatically give you the either item capacity upgrade, the actual item itself. It's usually just a glamour item. Sometimes it's a physical item that you can equip. You have to actually, it'll have an exclamation point instead of the check mark right there where my cursor is. You have to actually physically select that, and then it'll give you the item. And this is in all of them. You'll know you have something new in challenges when you see an exclamation point right where my cursor is. If there's no exclamation point there, there's nothing new to collect. But check up on them frequently anyway, just in case the game bugs out and doesn't give you the exclamation point for an item that you can claim as a reward. Okay, collections is important regarding enemies. So, enemies can be kind of annoying. Sometimes. Regular scouts, whatever it is, they're usually vulnerable to a whole bunch of things. Now, when you get into fighting monsters, however, there are usually unique tactics to it. And if you look at this is basically called the bestiary. I have no idea why they called it what it is, or a glossary. I don't like that it's called collections. A lot of video games that are open world have this. If you read the description on the creature, it will also give you hints on how to beat the creature using specific spells. These guys, for instance, that you fight in trials quite often, one of the best ways to kill them quickly is Expelliarmus, and then immediately use your Ancient Throw tactic, which is R1, and you'll actually throw their disarmed weapon at them, and it does an insane amount of damage. Spiders, the best way is to Leviosa them while they're going underground, or I think you can use Descendo while they're in the air. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Flipendo works for that too. These guys, I think you Leviosa them. Yeah, Leviosa can be used on a fleshy tongue, and then that'll take additional damage. This kind of fills in for everything else too. You get mounts, all that cool stuff, and it gives you just a description on what it is, where it came from, yada yada yada. Talents, I'm not sure you guys unlocked talents yet, but don't worry about it. I wouldn't spend all your talents all in one shot. I would spend quite a few of them to help you just do your thing. You probably only have one what's called skill wheel right now. Let's see what they actually call it in the game. Yeah, a spell set. You can actually get multiple spell sets, so you're going to make your combat easier. You can switch between combat, utility spells, exploration spells, and then beast-related spells for your room of requirement. That's actually really cool. Don't forget to often check your owl post. Sometimes the game bugs out, and you get an owl, and it doesn't read it to you automatically. If you see an exclamation point where my cursor is, where that red, I forgot what that marking is called, like you would stamp it, that means you got to open it. That can unlock a quest for you. So one of you is struggling with combat a little bit. What's really cool is you will get those mandrakes, you get cabbages, you get the venomous tentacular plants. Those are really helpful in combat. Also, don't sleep on potions, a couple of them. The Endura potion is great for giving you, not maximum, here it is, the Endurance potion. You can also enhance the potion's ability in your talents wheel. So when enemies attack you, the attack is reflected back at them without having to do Protego or a Stupefy Protego. One of my favorite potions, and I haven't used it too much, and I will use it, especially as you face large groups of enemies that are very fast. Thunder Brew creates a storm around you that deals damage and stuns enemies. You can enhance this ability in your Room of Requirement tree under Talents, and it will expand it and increase its damage. And it is an extremely valuable potion to have. You can do Maxima if you want for increased damage. I don't really feel like that's necessary if you're occasionally hitting an enemy at its weakness. Here, Thunder range and damage is increased, and you can see the little thing. It does a lot. Bread and butter spells. I mean, once you progress the main story and you get to Crucio, you can enhance the ability to curse multiple enemies around the one that you already hit, and you can enhance curse damage, stunning damage. You could just stun and curse large groups of enemies with one spell, rendering them almost incapacitated, and you could just kind of just beat them up at will. I'm going to get this next so I can enhance Bombarda. Bombarda is one of the best skills in the game. If you look at that little video description down there in Talents, it'll release an AoE effect, and it'll blast enemies all over the place, keeping them, off their feet, not casting at you. That's very important as you get further into the game, is you want to keep enemies on their toes, off their feet, flat on their back. You want to keep them in the air. It's not hard. Just learn how to rotate your spell sets well. I keep two because I keep it pretty simple. I just adjust it kind of on the fly. I've got Crucio, I've got Accio, Arresto Momentum, because I can add a curse damage to Arresto Momentum, and then I use Confringo, which is the alternative to Incendio. When Confringo is upgraded, that will actually act as a heat seeker to you. And then Expiration, I just adjust it on the fly based on what I'm doing in said mission or whatever it is. I actually don't use Accio that much anymore. I will actually use Flipendo a lot because it's pretty funny because it doesn't just lift them pull them to you, which sometimes you don't always want unless you're going to use like the Pulso a lot, which I wouldn't really recommend. I would use that as a utility for Exploration. Flipendo, you should have a purple in here at all times. You should have a yellow in there at all times. This is so you can dispel an enemy's barrier based on its color. Always have Confringo in there. Or you can have Expelliarmus. Expelliarmus is great too. You can add a cursing bonus to Expelliarmus. And when you hit an enemy with it, they are also cursed. Then they're stunned, and then they will take damage over time, which is what Crucio does. However, you can also Arrest of Momentum. When I hit enemies with Arrest of Momentum, it will also curse them on top of just being hit with Arrest of Momentum slows them down as well. You get a bunch of cool spells and abilities in this game. Rotate them based on your combat style, really. That's really all it is. You don't get the opportunity to boost these three traits down here. As far as I know, that's Room of Requirement stuff. You can only use those inside the Room of Requirement and during its quest to unlock the Room of Requirement. That's neat. It's a really fun quest. And then I think that pretty much covers it. Eventually on your map, you will unlock in the world map. You'll see all sorts of cool icons that you're not used to seeing. You can fly now, both of you, I believe. Eventually you will get a mount that's in the story, that's baked into it, so you'll wind up doing that no matter what. Always do your Natty and Sebastian quests as soon as they pop. They usually give you a crucial spell, some type of crucial item, or crucial ability. Again, if you're struggling with combat, work on those potions or work on herbologry, or we'll call it botany, and get those plants. Like, you can just throw cabbages on the ground that will eat people, and it's hilarious because it does also damage to them too. And you keep the enemy incapacitated for as long as the cabbage is there, the tentacular. Or, I think that's pretty much it. So enjoy the rest of your game.